Yeah, well, the Jordan Peterson, man, I mean, I'm in awe of that guy.
Yeah, he's a very, really fascinating gentleman.
He is, and just scary smart.
Yeah.
You know, I would just crumble trying to have a conversation with the guy.
You wouldn't, though.
Feel like a nitwit.
You would catch up. That's what happens
Probably
when you're
a couple
around.
days later, my friend.
But the thing about people like that is, like, if you are around a certain caliber of thinker, then your vibration sort of matches their vibration. Your skin looks better.
Oh, Jesus, Joe, I'm
This
way
is what's
better.
weird.
Yeah, yeah.
You look like more vibrant.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Sure.
When you're around people that are way smarter than you, you realize, like, oh, there's some shortcuts to thinking that I'm taking.
Yes.
And then there's some pitfalls in the way I analyze things, and these people don't have those things. And then my vocabulary is stunted. Maybe I should increase my vocabulary.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But like you said, though, to be around someone like him, you're naturally going to fall into a line of thinking where, wow, this guy's got a lot of shit.
Right.
His understanding of his calmness, man, it's like, it's just, I can't see that guy being rattled. I've watched debates, and he's so confident in what he believes.
Yes.
Turns out if you don't eat carbohydrates, you don't need vitamin C. Huh, who would have guessed that?
How's that work?
I don't remember. Michaela outlined a paper for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's thought things through.
Clearly.
He's not a silly person.
There's a perverse thing for you. I eat way less, and now I'm not as hungry. Okay. Well, how does that make sense?
Well, you're not eating way less. You're eating way less things.
Yes,
Because you had a
yes.
30-ounce steak last night.
Yes.
I mean, I think I am, so that's the problem there.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, I'm a nitwit. And so watching him, it's you know, it's humbling to watch someone like him that's got it together and has that level of understanding, because I spend a lot of my life trying to get to that level of understanding.
No, I eat beef and salt and water. That's it.
So to watch someone that's there,
Yeah.
it's like, it's just humbling.
Professor Jordan Peterson used to have a lot of issues, used to have a lot of health problems. Jordan Peterson, he would wake up in the morning, wouldn't get that energy right away, real kind of problems with getting up and just jumping into life. No, a history of depression in his family and in his own life. His gums would bleed and different shit like that, and a dentist had to clean that stuff. That used to happen with Professor Peterson. Even during the day, the professor couldn't catch a little Z's without issues. Clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson would take a 15-minute nap and had to recover from that nap for like an hour or more. Why didn't he take a 30-minute nap? We will never know. These are just some of the issues. Snoring. Professor Peterson would go to bed and just start to snore and disrupt his wife. It's not good snoring for your life, really. It's sleep apnea, I guess. It's just stuff like that. Now imagine if there was a solution to all of this. From the psychological issues, to the gums, to the sleep apnea, to everything. Sometimes he would be a little bit numb. That numbness is gone. 15-minute nap right now, no problem.
I need way less sleep. I get up in the morning and I'm fine. I'm not anxious. I'm not depressed. I don't have psoriasis. My legs were numb on the sides. That's gone.
What happened? Well, it turns out it's just one thing. A lot of things you put on the plate you really don't need there. Because Jordan Peterson has discovered for himself, at least, there's just one food item that answers all of our needs. Answers all of our nutritional needs, and you really don't need anything else. You just need water, salt, and that thing. The manna from the sky, it's fucking beef, dude.
At Outback, Big Australia is back. So for a limited time, your favourites are getting even bigger. 18-ounce centre-cut sirloin kind of beef.
Keep it on the down low. The shit you need is beef. When the professor gets up in the morning, guess what he eats? What are you, retarded? It's fucking beef. When it comes to lunch, what's on the menu? Did you fail fucking 3rd grade, you piece of shit? It's fucking beef, okay? Well, here comes dinner time. Hey mama, cook up some beef. And here's the thing that's going on right here. There is some skepticism in your mind. You're like, just this one thing, just beef? Like this, just like nature has designed the human organism to eat one food item and it cures all these issues, seemingly unrelated issues all across the organism. It's the beef cleanse.
No, I eat beef and salt and water. That's it.
I see you there, motherfucker, with your fucking jaundiced eye, eating your fucking vegetables and greens, judging Jordan Peterson's 24/7 fucking beef diet. You piece of shit, sitting there on your throne of your balanced diet with your carbs and your little fruity greens. You fucking douchebag. You know what happens when you sit on a throne, if you watch that HBO show? What happens is a fucking beef dragon flies down and bites you on the balls because you've been scheming like an asshole over there. You don't understand. You don't understand. And Jordan Peterson has a perfectly rational response, devoid of emotion or anecdotal evidence for this shit.
I had 50 health problems and I stopped eating everything but meat and they went away. It's like, oh, sure. It's like, yeah, well, it wasn't you dying.
And boy, is Jordan Peterson consistent on this point. The diet that won't kill you will make you stronger. Unless it kills you, dude.
Eventually, this diet will kill me. It's like, yeah, well, it wasn't you dying.
My dude, fuck it. We're all gonna die. What's the surprise there? Are you a fucking clown on a unicycle that you're surprised to hear this? It is precisely at this point that when I contemplate the image and the words of Jordan Peterson, only one combination of words come to mind. And that combination, of course, is beef daddy. Knock knock, it's beef o'clock. Where's the beef? Fucking Peterson ate it. It's beef daddy Peterson. Beef fucking 100%. Fucking put some salt on it and forget about every other fucking food group. Don't even touch another animal. Total commitment to beef. Enforce monogamy with the fucking beef, dude.
Depression is gone. I'm stronger. I can swim better. And my gum disease is gone.
Do you want your fucking herpes fucking healed? You're not tired of your gonorrhea? Voices in your head? That's you eating chicken, you piece of shit. A lot of things can go away like that if you just make a fucking commitment to beef, dude. Let's relax. Are you asking yourself, is Peterson making beef jerky too? Motherfucker, yeah.
And I carry beef jerky with me, which we make.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's crazy. You make your own beef jerky.
Well,
so
it's
no
easy. We have a
nitrates.
dehydrator, and you just basically put salt on it and throw it in the dehydrator, so that works pretty well.
Sorry to hurt your feelings, my dude, but I met your mom at the dehydrator. Oh! Now you're asking yourself, is Jordan Peterson eating little fucking bowls of cow fat? My dude, it's beef, of course. Of course he's eating that shit.
Michaela is buying fat directly from the butcher store, and we cook that up, cut it into small pieces and fry it up till it's crispy.
Wow.
It's actually quite delicious.
Now, my friends, let's talk about Michaela Peterson. A while back, a couple of months back, the algorithm suggested a video of Michaela Peterson giving an interview to some douchebag, to one of these fucking health nuts. And she was talking about diarrhea, but she was talking about all other things as well. It's just like not being very health conscious. That's the only kind of thing that registered in my mind at the time. But the other thing that registered is, I was like, is this Jordan Peterson's daughter? Well, the mystery didn't continue for long because I went to the comment section where somebody said Jordan Peterson's daughter was hot. Michaela Peterson is a very nice looking lady. Seems to be very articulate. I'll say that much. But it'll never happen between us. She's Canadian. I'm creepy around women. Her name is Peterson. She's from the Peterson clan. It'll never happen. She's married. She has children. I'll never let her go. Well, this is why women call me creepy. So it'll never happen, and it's kind of a cycle of pain for me. A cycle of pain. What the fuck am I supposed to do? To find a lady? Fucking eat beef all the time? Okay, alright. Okay, well, so this is Michaela Peterson. I had zero desire to talk about Michaela Peterson, because I didn't want to come off like a weird stalker of this fucking Peterson family. I only ever talk about Dad because I need to fucking milk him for the algorithm. I'm fucking desperate. I have no imagination about what other fucking staple video to do on this channel, so I just fucking come back to this Cal Peterson and milk him, and now he's fucking eating beef all the time, and everything in him is morphing into beef. Like all the cells in his organism that renew, like if he continues eating beef, he's just gonna be like completely made out of beef. I mean, that's kind of fucking amazing. That's something to fucking think about, what Peterson is doing. Is there a lesson there for all of us? Oh, well, that's Michaela Peterson. I didn't fucking want to talk about her. I didn't want to criticize her. She had some sort of a goofy diet, and seemingly in every single interview she does talk about her indigestions and diarrhea and shit, which is kind of an achievement, I guess, to get people to listen to that shit. But the thing about Michaela Peterson is that she totally shares, the commitment to science that her dad has.
There are people with celiac disease who have schizophrenia induced by gluten.
And that right there is sort of it, my friends. This is why I decided to start talking about it, because she elevated herself to the Joe Rogan podcast. Now she's on there and she's talking about diet like a fucking expert. And her one conclusion is to eat beef all the fucking time and not take any supplements, because everything is contained in beef. And that bullshit Peterson said at the very beginning, if you didn't miss it, like if you don't eat carbs, you don't need vitamin C.
Yes. Turns out if you don't eat carbohydrates, you don't need vitamin C. Huh, who would have guessed that?
How's that work?
I don't remember. Michaela outlined a paper for me.
That's the kind of shit, you know, she feeds the professor. And now that she's propagating this diet, I think it's only fair to fucking subject her to the kind of constructive criticism that we're known for on this channel. For the measured and constructive criticism that I have been subjecting her dad for some time now, for a fucking year, and that's even depressing to think about, because I don't care about Beef Daddy that much. I don't fucking care about Beef Daddy. I feel fucking into some sort of a sinkhole in the desert. I'm just stuck with him. Why the fuck would I know his fucking diet at this point? I wish to be rid of him, motherfucker, but I guess I need to be eating beef to just sort of fucking get more energy to come up with other fucking topics to talk about. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the Peterson family and beef. But when there is beef, there's also, you know, the archetypes. There's the anti-beef, kind of like with Jesus. And here there are a couple of anti-beefs that have really took a big hit against the Peterson family, against the Peterson clan, tried to knock them off and destroy them. So one of them is apple cider. It's retarded, and I will talk about it in a second. Like, apple cider almost killed Peterson. Literally, that's how he describes it. It really opened up a darkness of the soul, apple cider, for like a fucking month for this fucknut Peterson. But the other one is soy. Naturally, you've heard of the soy boy. But have you heard of the soy so powerful? A fucking big meal of soy that turns into a demon. A soy demon. Have you heard of that shit? Whoa, fucking meet Michaela Peterson, motherfucker.
So essentially, just this one meal, this one great meal of soy threw you off for a couple weeks, radically.
Yeah, like almost 4, like 3 weeks. But after 2 weeks, it started getting better. Because at that point, I still thought soy was a health food.
This one great meal of soy.
So I ate a huge meal of like edamame beans and bean sprouts and miso soup that I made myself, so it was gluten-free, and soy sauce and tofu. I literally ate soy in every form. I immediately got bloated. I had diarrhea like within maybe 20, 30 minutes of eating it. And I thought, okay, that sucks. I guess I can't eat soy.
This one great meal of soy.
And then about 4 hours later, my legs got itchy. And then my whole body got itchy. And I was like, okay, that sucks. I'm reacting to soy.
This one great meal of soy.
And then the next morning, the depression came back. And I got in the shower and I bawled in the shower and thought, how could I be so naive to think that my horrible autoimmune disorder and the depression and everything was caused by food? Like, what an idiotic thing to think. How could I be that hopeful? And then I had to remind myself, okay, no, you ate a whole bunch of this food, then you had this like digestive distress, then you got itchy, and now the depression is back. There's clearly a pattern here, but it was hard to think like that when I got that depressed. So that day was like, I spent a lot of that day crying. Then the next day got worse.
This one great meal of soy.
And this is when it gets weird. I went over to my parents and I was just like, I don't know what's going on, right? And they're like, well, do you want to take a car back to your apartment? And I said, I don't think I can drive. Like, I just can't think. I don't know what's going on. So my brother drove me home. I literally ate soy in every form. And I was like on the verge of having a panic attack for no reason, right? It was just like my heart rate was increasing. I was trying to find my keys, and I turned around to look at my brother in the car, and his head was a kind of a demon. I know how this sounds, but he had like a demon head for about a second and a half.
This one great meal of soy.
And he looked at me, and then he turned, and then it was my brother again. So I was standing at
So you're hallucinating.
Well, maybe her brother really is the soy demon, Joe. Did you think about that?
for like about a second and a half.
Any other hallucinations?
That year, yes. Before that, no. I literally ate soy in every form. It was dark at night, and it was like I was so anxious.
So you're so distraught, you're a mess, and maybe you just caused yourself to
something
have this
happened.
idea. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I saw it. Like, I can remember what it looks like, but it wasn't a vivid demon or something. It was like...
This one great meal of soy.
But it was there.
So you ate soy and started tripping?
Yeah, 2 days later. I know how it sounds. That's how it sounded to me, too.
Have you found comparable stories online?
So obviously I did as much research as I could possibly do.
So now soy is dangerous. You thought it was a health food. It's a fucking demon, dude. Do you want to see your grandma looking like a demon of some sort when you're fucking tripping on soy? But there is something else that really kicked Beef Daddy in the balls, that really leaped on him and almost strangled him to death, caused him unbelievable, like Jesus level suffering. And that was apple cider. Apple cider really, really kind of gave it fucking to Peterson. It really fucking kicked his ass, that apple cider. Fucking viciously, like a dog, it leaped on him. Poor Peterson, after drinking the cider, couldn't sleep for fucking 25 fucking days. It's fucking amazing. It's unbelievable.
Apple cider? Like, what was it doing?
Sulfites in it.
What was it doing to you?
Oh, it produced an overwhelming sense of impending doom. And I seriously mean overwhelming. Like, there's no way I could have lived like that if that would have lasted for... See, Michaela knew by that point that it would probably only last a month, and I was like...
A month?
Yeah,
from
a month.
Fucking cider?
Oh, I didn't sleep that month. I didn't sleep for 25 days. I didn't sleep at all. I didn't sleep at all for 25 days.
How is that possible? That
I'll tell you how it's possible. You lay in bed, frozen in something approximating terror for 8 hours, and then you get up.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, not
and
good.
this is from fucking cider.
But it happened. It totally happened. 25 days of just misery, laying in bed in total terror, laying in bed as if you live in Stalinist Russia, and there's the NKVD knocking at your door. Say hello to cider. Say hello to Commissar Cider. It doesn't believe in your freedom. You're fucked. You're fucked. And so was Peterson until he recovered. So why am I talking about any of this bullshit to begin with? Well, there's an ethical argument to be made. Now, I want to say that Michaela Peterson really had very serious health issues. Very, very serious health issues. And she claims that nearly all of them have disappeared after she just started eating beef. It was the beef pill, the beef fucking red pill, that completely cured her of the matrix of false foods, which is everything aside from beef. This is what happened with Michaela, and then she opened up this kind of alternative reality where beef fucking cures everything, and Peterson fucking flew in there. And that's actually not a problem for me, if they weren't public people. But as public people, they continuously promote this fucking beef diet. Now, in the case of Peterson, I gotta give it to him. He always says it's fucking anecdotal, he's not a nutritionist, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He always fucking says it. But his passion for beef, Beef Daddy, is so radiates beef fucking so powerfully that I'm sure a lot of morons who fucking follow this guy like the Canadian Jesus, I mean, they're gonna fucking start eating beef, and I'm not sure this is good for you. I don't give a shit what happens with everyone. I myself eat little pieces of shit around the house that I find. My diet is just horrible. I don't know why I haven't seen the soy demon. The only reason is I haven't been eating soy. No soy, no soy demon, but I eat like shit. But I do think that the way they're going about it is basically promoting this diet. Now, Peterson does so with qualifications. Michaela has no qualifications that I've ever heard. She just reads a lot of shit on the internet. Then she spits it back, and because she's relatively articulate, she sounds like an expert in this shit. And she has a blog, and people are really following her with this fucking beef diet. It's kind of insane, and so I think that they're worthy of criticism on this front. But as you might have noticed here, I just don't give a shit whether people, different idiots, eat beef or not. I mean, I want everybody to be healthy and everybody to be nice and whatever, but I just don't profoundly give a shit. The way I found out about this whole topic is that a friend of mine sent me a link to a video about Peterson having this horrible time with cider. And I thought, well, this is funny. Maybe I'll do a video on it. I didn't want to do a video on it because the clip was pretty short, but I was kind of desperate, had no other fucking ideas. And I said, okay, let's go with the cider shit. But that video was jokey. It had a lot of these like zoom ins on the face and little fucking sound effects and shit. And to the extent that they're going to appear in my video, I want to put them in myself. So I wanted to see the original clip. And when I did see the original clip, it also included that beef shit. Purely the cider clip, the 5-minute clip, the insane cider clip, didn't talk about this beef, you know, Beef Daddy Peterson. And then I discovered him. And an interesting thing happened to me when I started listening to this longer clip about Peterson's insane diet. And the interesting thing was that I was kind of falling for it. I have to admit this to you. When Peterson starts with the lobsters and the archetypes and the cultural Marxists, I immediately tune out. But maybe I was not armored on this point. I was not ready for Beef Daddy and for the conversations about the diet. That when he just started talking about it, it was very seductive. At first, something that seemed ridiculous to me, by the time I got to the actual apple cider story, after this long fucking odyssey of beef, I was fucking ready to see it as somewhat rational. Of course this would happen. That for 25 days you wouldn't sleep because of apple cider. I didn't completely buy into it, but go along with me. I was really seduced by it. And you know, a lot of things that Peterson is describing here is just shit like that I can relate to, like being depressed, being tired in the morning, wanting to take a nap, and then being exhausted after a nap. And I was like, maybe this beef works. I was being pulled into the Michaela's beef vortex through Peterson. Like I'm not gonna just eat beef. I'm just too lazy to, like I said, I'm a fucking scavenger. I eat different shit. I just walk into the supermarket and I see fat people there and I don't want to stand in line, and I just fucking ran and grabbed some fucking shit with preservatives, some shitty fucking pizza, some shitty fucking frozen hamburgers, and I just fucking run out of there, motherfucker, and that's my fucking diet. That's my fucking beef diet. I just go to fucking little shitty restaurants where I don't have to wait in the drive-thru. I'm not ready for fucking beef diet. I don't have a discipline for that shit. But I thought this was an interesting phenomenon. When fucking Joe Rogan talks about his diet, it's just so fucking boring. It's so scientific, and it's probably bullshit as well with Joe. I mean, it's way more scientific than it is with Peterson, but that's a low bar. But anyway, it's just this like yuppie preoccupation with health. It's like old people constantly talk about their health issues, and now like different yuppies and different assholes can pitch in with their fucking health tips and shit they found online. I just want you to all fucking start smoking cigarettes and just not give a shit about health like I do, because that shit is fucking annoying. But with Peterson, it's really opera. It's these archetypes, it's the struggle against death, against misery, struggle against the grim reaper that's coming for his family, and you just fucking throw beef at that fucking reaper and he retreats from now. Eventually this guy's gonna kill you, but now you fucking have to get rid of this reaper. And I thought that there's something here to Peterson's communication style. You can talk a lot of shit about Peterson, but he is archetypal sort of a intellectual for idiots. He really is this kind of a dark dad. I'm your real YouTube dad. I don't fucking hide behind beef like Peterson. But Peterson is your YouTube beef daddy. I mean, there's just a darkness and a kind of a flow of a march of to pathos and little shitty logos. Like, it's not just a boring conversation about diet with Peterson. Fucking fuck science, he doesn't know what's going on there. It's so anecdotal, as he says, but it's so fucking powerful. So if you want to see Peterson tell this story, get ready for it, because I really have very little to say. The rest of this is going to be Peterson heavy. And you can look around and listen to Peterson and see if this ridiculous idea of only eating beef is going to be less ridiculous with time as you listen to Peterson. I don't really fucking have anything to say, you know. After this, it's just little jokes, little shitty jokes for me. But watch out for Peterson's big fucking logos. Those big fucking beef chunks, fucking beef patties of infinite meaning from Peterson.
Right.
So, you know, I want to get into this because this is I think this is a fascinating thing with you personally. Your diet. You're on this carnivore diet now.
Okay, so I want to preface that with something. I am not a dietary expert, so I'm now speaking as an uninformed citizen.
Yes.
Right.
Well, this is anecdotal evidence from a human being that has dealt with autoimmune issues your whole life.
Yes.
You have done this for how long now?
I've been on a pure carnivore diet for about 2 months and a very, very low carb, greens only, modified carnivore diet for about a year.
So in the year...
And a low-carb diet for 2 years.
So from the time that I've known you for what, 2.5 years now, something like that?
Yeah.
When I first met you, you had much more weight on your body.
Yeah.
You looked different.
Yeah.
And you were, back then you were eating like the standard diet, right? Like normal people do.
Yes.
Pasta, bread, meat, chicken, whatever.
Yes.
Right? You shifted over to only meat and greens. I saw you and I'm like, you look fantastic. I'm like, what are you doing? And you're like, I changed my diet. I only eat meat and greens. And I was like, wow, that's fascinating. Well, I felt like, okay, what you're doing is cutting out refined sugars and all these different things that are problematic, preservatives, all the bullshit, processed foods. And you're having this extreme health benefit. And I was like, wow, that's really excellent. You're showing great discipline. Then you decided to take it to another place and cut out the greens.
Yeah, I know.
What was the motivation for cutting out the greens?
Well, all of the motivation for this has been my experience with my daughter because she has an unbelievably serious autoimmune disease. I just talked to her this morning.
What is it called?
Well, it's arthritis, but there's way more to it than that. But the arthritis was the major set of symptoms. She had 40 affected joints. And she had to have her hip replaced and her ankle replaced when she was 15 and 16. And so she basically hobbled around on 2 broken legs for 2 years in extreme agony. And that was just a tiny fraction of the whole set of problems. I just talked to her this morning. She's in Chicago. Looks like she has to have her ankle replacement replaced. So that's next on the horizon. But apart from that, she is doing so well now. It is absolutely beyond comprehension. So she's very trim. She had a baby, but she's very trim. She's down to about 118 pounds. She's about 5'6". She's just glowing with health. All of her autoimmune symptoms are gone, all of them. And she was also seriously depressed, like severely depressed, way worse than you think. She couldn't stay awake for more than about 6 hours without taking Ritalin. And she was dying. And I had a cousin, my cousin's daughter. She died when she was 30 from an associated autoimmune condition. So there's a fair bit of this in our family. It was bloody bleak, I'll tell you. And my wife always had a suspicion that this was dietary related. The problem is that in order to identify a dietary component, the response has to be pretty quick after you eat the thing. Like if it's 2 days later, how the hell are you going to figure that out? Right. A lot of these responses appear to be delayed for 4 days and last a month. So good luck figuring that out. Anyways, Michaela noticed about 3 years ago, no more than that now, 5 years ago, she was at Concordia University and struggling with her illness and all the associated problems. She noticed that around exam time she was starting to develop real skin problems. And my cousin's daughter, who I mentioned, had really bad skin problems and wounds that wouldn't heal, and that was partly part of the process that eventually killed her. And she thought, oh, it must be stress. And then she thought, wait a second, I really changed my diet. When I'm studying, all I do is eat bagels. All I do is eat bread, sandwiches. She thought, maybe it's the bread. So she cut out gluten first, and it had a remarkable effect, like a really remarkable effect. And then she went on a radical elimination diet all the way down to nothing but chicken and broccoli. And then her symptoms started to drop off one by one. Like, and like one of the things that happened is she started to wake up in the morning. She started to be able to stay awake all day. And when you're only staying awake for 6 hours with Ritalin, staying awake all day, that's like having a life. And so a whole bunch of things improved. Then her depression went away. And I've had depression since I was 13 probably, and very severe. And I've treated it a variety of ways, some of them quite successfully. But it's been a constant battle. And my father had it, and his father had it. And it's all just rife in my family. And my wife has autoimmune problems in her.
When you say depression, define it.
How would you define it?
Because that's a blanket term.
Yeah. Well, imagine that you wake up and that you remember that all your family was killed in a horrible accident yesterday.
You would feel that even
all
if nothing
the time.
was wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Now, personally, I think that Jordan Peterson is wrong on this, because when I experienced severe depression, the way I experienced it is as if I failed to deliver the money to the Sinaloa cartel, and all the guys, starting with Jorge, would brutally, anally rape me and just say that I'm a failure in life and that I will never amount to anything. That's how I personally experienced my severe clinical depression. And the thing about that experience, I never have a direct experience of that to really compare it to. Kind of when Peterson is bullshitting about feeling every day as if his whole family was killed. Because if you haven't really experienced it, you can't really say that that's what you're experiencing. You know? It's like I can't just say, oh, this was so nice, as if fucking Megan Fox blew me. I'm not obsessed with Megan Fox, okay? And it's a crude reference. But you know what I'm saying here. You know what I'm saying. And there are people who take depression not seriously at all and just think that you can exert some will, lift yourself out of this weakness, and that it's just a bunch of bullshit and you're sensitive. And then there are people like Peterson on the other extreme who fucking make it the suffering of sufferings. Have you experienced what other people experienced? Have you experienced people in war zones who actually had their whole family killed and now they're just walking completely dead and devastated inside? Do you know that that's exactly what depression is? Like, do you have to fucking take out your fucking DJ's bullhorn in order to validate your depression? Can you just chill back with it a little bit and say it is a horrible, painful experience, but not fucking compared with shit like having your whole family killed?
It's actually worse than that. Because,
Really?
well, one of the things Michaela told me was she thought, well, what's it like to be depressed? Well, imagine you have a dog and you really love the dog, and then the dog dies. And then about 3 years ago, our dog died. And that was Michaela's dog, and she really liked that dog. And she said, that was bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as being depressed. And I asked her too at one point when she was about 15 or 16. I said, look, you've got a choice, kid. Here's the choice. You can either have depression or arthritis. Which one? I'll take the arthritis. Well, that was after she'd lost 2 joints. So it was no joke. It's no joke, man. There isn't anything. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say there's nothing worse. Because worse is a very deep hole.
Right.
But it's bad.
The thing about dogs and cats is that when they die, they're often very miserable before they die. Like, they sit in the corner and stare into the corner like some cats do, or that they're just blind and having a horrible time like dogs do. And so when you lose an animal in that condition, it's not exactly necessarily the most devastating thing ever, because they're clearly getting a sense of relief from existence that no longer holds any joy for them. And comparing that with losing a human family and saying that it's worse is kind of goofy. But the second example with arthritis is right on. I mean, here you have a horrible physical condition and a horrible mental condition, and a mental condition is worse. Why can't you stick with something kind of mild and reasonable and rational like that to demonstrate that depression is a serious illness, Peterson?
Yeah, people will prove you wrong, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. Worse is a deep hole. Anyways, her depression went away. All these symptoms went away. And like radically.
So what changed her from chicken and broccoli to carnivore?
Well, she kept experimenting, and she got very sensitive to all sorts of foods in the aftermath of that too. So this is why I wouldn't recommend that anybody does this casually, because we don't understand much about it. But the upshot was that, well, she kept experimenting, and she started to add things back and take them away. And sometimes when she added things, the results were devastating. She was like done for a month. She ate the wrong thing, done for a month. All the symptoms came back. The depression came back. She thought that her whole dietary theory was wrong because it lasted so long and was so extreme. And it's like it took her 2 years to figure out that really what she could eat was beef and greens. And then she figured out that she could only eat beef.
So the greens themselves.
Well, look, so what happened? Okay, so 2 years ago she said, Dad, you have to try this diet because you have a lot of the same symptoms as me. Now, I didn't have arthritis, but I had a lot of the other symptoms. And I thought, oh, Christ, okay, Michaela, I can try anything for a month. She said, try it for a month. I thought, okay, whatever. I can hang by my fingernails from the windowsill for a month.
I can do just about anything for a month. For example, in the beginning of August, I saw a girl at the local grocery store that looked suspiciously like Anita Sarkeesian. And so I just started screaming at her. The rape threats were wrong. I'm a gender cis, heterosexual, whatever. I'm against the rape threats that she received because of the games. The rape threats are wrong, and this is what I told the police officers when they were taking me out for no reason whatsoever. For no reason whatsoever. And it is precisely in the parking lot when one of them said I was maybe mentally ill and wanted to take me to the emergency room, when I have made a solemn pledge before Anita Sarkeesian that I will no longer manspread in public. No longer. Okay? And I really kept to this pledge for, I would say, about 9 days, when I fell asleep and a celestial lobster appeared in my dream and told me, Ivan, baby, the archetypes need some air. I'll try something else next time, but I'm up for anything for a month.
It's like, it's just not that big a deal. And so I went on a really low carb diet. Okay, so this is what happened. I had gastric reflux disorder, and I was snoring quite a lot. I stopped snoring the first week. I thought, what the hell? That's supposed to be associated with weight loss. Because I had gained some weight. I weighed about 212 pounds, and I'm about 6'1½", so that was my maximum weight. I stopped snoring, which was a great relief to Tammy. So that just quit, and that's a big deal, right? Because if you snore, you have sleep apnea, and then you don't sleep right, and it's like not a good thing. Okay, next. I started waking up in the mornings. I'd never been able to wake up in the mornings my whole life. I always had to stumble to the shower, and then maybe I could wake up. It took me an hour, and I felt terrible. And so all of a sudden I woke up, and it was like, oh, look at that. I'm awake in the morning, and I'm clear-headed, and things aren't gloomy and horrible. It's like, well, isn't that weird? Then I lost 7 pounds the first month. I thought, 7 pounds, that's a lot in a month. And I'd already gone for a whole year on a sugar-free diet, and I didn't lose any weight. And I'd been exercising.
Sugar-free, but did you cut out bread and gluten?
No, it was just no desserts, no sugar. No, and I thought that might do it. Didn't make any difference at all. 7 pounds. Well, then I lost 7 pounds the next month. Then I lost 7 pounds the next month.
One reason the story is entirely believable, of course, is the sweet number 7. Beef Daddy knows it, and so do I. My fucking vaporizer just fucking dropped on the camera and you saw a shake. Fucking 7, dude. Number 7. It's the sacred number. You have to check with the archetypes. Zeus blessed 7 cows for 7 months, and they went to Jesus, and he said, give these cows to Caesar so he can have a pure beef diet. Next thing this fucking Peterson's gonna tell us, my dude, is that he lost 7 pounds for 7 months straight.
I lost 7 pounds every month for 7 months. It's like I had to throw away all my clothes. I went back to the same weight that I was when I was 26. And my psoriasis disappeared. And I had floaters in my right eye, and they cleared up. And then the last thing that went away for me, I was still having a bitch of a time with mood regulation, and that sucked because when I changed my diet, I didn't respond to antidepressants properly anymore. They weren't working. And so although I was getting better physically in a variety of ways, like radical ways, I was really having a bitch of a time regulating my mood, and I was having sporadic, really negative reactions to food when I ate something I shouldn't. So that took about 1.5 years to clear up, and I was still really anxious in the morning up to 3 months ago, like horribly, and then it would get better all day. People said, well, you're under a lot of stress, and I thought, yeah, I've been under a lot of stress for like 10 years. It's like, it's a lot, but it wasn't any more stressful than helping my daughter deal with her illness, that's for sure. That, no, this is something different. And she said to me, quit eating greens. And I thought, oh, really? Jesus, Michaela, I'm eating cucumbers, lettuce, broccoli, and chicken and beef. It's like I have to cut out the goddamn greens? It's like...
At Outback, Big Australia is back. So for a limited time, your favourites are getting even bigger. 18-ounce centre-cut sirloin kind of beef.
Try it for a month. Okay. Within a week, I was 25% less anxious in the morning. Within 2 weeks, 75%. And I've been better every single day. I'm better now probably than I've ever been in my life. And I haven't been taking antidepressants for a whole year. So I don't know what, and I weigh 162 pounds. Like I have no, and I've actually gained musculature. I've been doing some working out, but not a lot.
When you eat beef, it kind of naturally kind of migrates from your tummy and into your muscles. It just naturally kind of flows into your muscles. So you really don't have to waste a lot of time in the gym or with the gym membership because it's already there. It's gonna, if you do it for a month, just kind of naturally goes to the muscle.
I can sleep 6 hours a night, no problem. I wake up in the morning, I'm awake. If I take a 15-minute nap, that used to take me an hour to recover from, that's gone.
Beef daddy, I said it once, I'm gonna say it again. If it took you 1 hour to recover from a 15-minute nap, why not go for a sweet 30 minutes? Or is it gonna work in increments of 7, the recovery time? Who knows? Well, thankfully, this is no longer an issue because we're all fucking 24/7 beef, motherfucker. 100% beefcake with Peterson.
Here's the coolest thing. I've had gum disease since I was 25. That's been serious enough to have, I've had to have minor surgical interventions, scraping and that sort of thing to keep it at bay. It's gone. I checked with my dentist before this last tour. No inflammation. And that's associated with heart disease, by the way, gum inflammation and gingivitis. It's a good risk factor for heart disease. It means the systemic inflammation is gone. And it's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to recover from gingivitis. And my gums are in perfect shape. It's like, what the hell? So here's what happened. I lost 50 pounds. It's like, that's a lot, right? I'm nowhere near as hungry as I used to be. My appetite's probably fallen by 70%. I don't get blood sugar dysregulation problems. I need way less sleep. I get up in the morning and I'm fine. I'm not anxious. I'm not depressed. I don't have psoriasis. My legs were numb on the sides. That's gone. I'm certainly intellectually at my best at the moment, which is a great relief, especially doing this tour. Depression is gone. I'm stronger. I can swim better. And my gum disease is gone. It's like, what the hell?
Fucking Peterson sure knows how to sell that shit. I mean, Beef Daddy does it like nobody else. Soon he fucking is gonna grow out 2 cow eyes on the side of his head in addition to his regular eyes so he can look out for fucking predators and cultural Marxists and shit. I mean, what didn't this shit heal? Can you name me something, Peterson, that a fucking eating beef all the time didn't heal, motherfucker? I mean, this is amazing.
And you've done no blood work, so you don't know what your lipid profile is, or
no. I'll get that done again when I go back.
Do you take
to
any
Toronto.
vitamins?
No, no. I eat beef and salt and water. That's it. And I never cheat, ever. Not even a little bit.
No
Nothing.
soda, no wine.
I drink club soda.
Well, that's not. It's still water.
Well, you know, when you're down to that level, no, it's not.
So
Look, Joe, there's club soda, which is really bubbly. There's Perrier, which is sort of bubbly. There's flat water, and there's hot water.
So those are your varieties.
Yeah, those distinctions start to become important.
That is crazy. Well, we ate last night, and I ate what you ate. We both had that giant tomahawk, but I eat a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
But I don't have any problems, like health problems.
Hey, man, like I'm not. Disclaimer number 2. I am not recommending this to anyone. However, I have had many, many people come up to me on the tour and say, look, I've been following your daughter's blog and I've lost like 100 pounds. I think, what? You lost 100 pounds? Yeah, I lost 100 pounds in 6 months.
Can you imagine for these people, the Peterson family is just this amazing family of geniuses, just sent from God. I mean, they're on there with the Peterson clips on YouTube with Michaela's blog. Papa tells you to clean your room. Michaela really emphasizes beef. They just kind of go in there with Peterson and they're like, thank you for giving birth to Michaela, who waved her arms and opened the fucking amazing beef vortex that has changed my life entirely. These people are blessed to have the Petersons in their life. I mean, we're all blessed that we really live in an epoch of Peterson.
I talked to a woman yesterday. She lost 15 pounds in 1 month. She was 70. It's like, this is... here's a question. Why is everyone fat and stupid? That's a question, man. Because it's new.
Is it?
Yes, it is. It's new. And it's not sedentary lifestyle. That hypothesis doesn't seem to hold water. There's something wrong with the way we're eating. And what's wrong is that we're eating way too many carbohydrates, I think. But remember, I'm no expert.
Big shift.
Peterson is really attracted to the single theory of everything. What should you eat? One thing, beef. That's the one thing we're eating now is beef. Why did people get fat? Well, it has to be one thing, and it's carbohydrates. It couldn't possibly be carbohydrates plus sugars plus fat and all that shit. It couldn't, and sedentary lifestyle, it couldn't just be a combination of those things. It just has to be fucking carbs. There has to be just one reason. And the other thing is, like, a woman lost 15 pounds and she's 70 from going on an all beef diet. Peterson, are you sure that's a good thing? Do you want to maybe clarify this or not? I mean, even if she was profoundly overweight, is it good for a person in her age bracket to lose so much weight in a fucking single month? I'm not sure that it is, Peterson. I'm just not sure that it is.
What's fascinating to me is I haven't heard any negative stories about people doing this.
Well, I have a negative story.
Okay.
Okay. One of the things that both Michaela and I noticed was that when we restricted our diet and then ate something we weren't supposed to, the reaction to eating what we weren't supposed to was absolutely catastrophic.
What did you do? What did you switch to? Or what did you eat, rather?
Well, the worst response, I think we're allergic to, or allergic, whatever the hell this is, having an inflammatory response to something called sulfites. And we had some apple cider that had sulfites in it, and that was really not good. Like, I was done for a month. That was the first time I talked to Sam Harris.
You were done for a month?
Oh, yeah. It took me out for a month. It was awful.
Really?
Yeah. So I would say, look.
So this is right before this whole truth conversation with Sam Harris that got stuck in the mud. During.
So I think the day I talked to Sam was like the worst day of my life. Not because of talking to Sam, but it was
just physical.
Oh, Jesus, I was so dead. But I didn't want to not do it. Because
apple cider, like what was it doing?
Sulfites in it.
What was it doing to you?
Oh, it produced an overwhelming sense of impending doom. And I seriously mean overwhelming. Like, there's no way I could have lived like that if that would have lasted for... See, Michaela knew by that point that it would probably only last a month, and I was like...
A month?
Yeah,
from
a month.
Fucking cider?
Oh, I didn't sleep that month. I didn't sleep for 25 days. I didn't sleep at all. I didn't sleep at all for 25 days.
How is that possible?
I'll tell you how it's possible. You lay in bed, frozen in something approximating terror for 8 hours, and then you get up.
Now, the longest documented case of going without sleep was for 11 days. That is the scientific record. This is the utmost of human capacity. And yet Peterson went for 25, laying there in terror, unable to sleep, as a result of apple cider. And all the tens of thousands of people who like this video with Joe Rogan, of course, it's Peterson. He can stay awake for 25 days. But you know how it's possible? On the one hand, Peterson was certainly hit by the evil power of cider. He had the terror, he had the tremors. But let's not forget about Beef Daddy's inner beef strength. At that point, Peterson was already halfway made out of beef. And it just didn't get to him, this lack of sleep and this horrible cider terror, the way it would get to mere mortals like you and I. This is what happened there with Peterson. And hearing this description that is clearly fantastical, I have to wonder, can I trust anything that comes out of the Peterson family? Maybe this is their genetic traits, that they just inflame any health issue, like Peterson being bit by a mosquito would be just a wrestling with a gigantic beast. Everything is just hyped up. Everything is like fucking a rap video of Malady's motherfucker, you know, the biggest and the best. I'm fucking rolling around in my Bentley of sorrow. Is what's going on, and I can't trust Michaela or Peterson, because that description is utterly ludicrous. For a fucking month he wasn't able to sleep. And the other thing about it is that conversation with Sam Harris, if you're interested in seeing Peterson being utterly destroyed, listen to that podcast with Sam Harris. the first one back in 2017. You see, now Sam Harris views Peterson as these sort of gods on the Mount Olympus on dark intellectual web or whatever the fuck. Like they're kind of making money with each other, giving these performances. They're like the shitty Lincoln and the douchebag Douglas debates that continue with them. But back in the day, when Sam still thought of a Peterson as just like some piece of shit on YouTube with a cult around him, he really gave it to him. A lot of people don't like Sam Harris, but there's nobody who gave it to Peterson like Sam did back in the day. So it is especially suspicious that Jordan Peterson here is still fixated on this one conversation out of the millions he had, and he has to justify it with this cider sorrow. So if you're interested in, again, in Peterson being completely destroyed, even if you're not a fan of Sam Harris, listen to his Waking Up podcast from back in 2017 when he still didn't know Peterson's potential to advance his own internet fame, because that was pretty brutal. In fact, I have a clip of it on my very channel. It's called Sam Harris Destroys Peterson, but I'm almost too shy to fucking include it in this video because I'm not proud of it. Just some piece of shit that I made at the first days of the channel. Unfortunately, it's still up there because it attracts views, but one day I'm gonna fucking axe it.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, not
and
good.
this is from fucking cider. From cider.
That's what we thought. Yeah. I mean, look, again, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, this is all a mystery to me. The fact that my daughter was so sick. See, the one thing that I did know, because I scoured the literature on arthritis when she was a kid, the scientific literature, and because we were interested in the dietary connection, and the only thing I could find that was reliable was that if people with arthritis fasted, their symptoms reliably went away. And that's actually a well-documented finding. But then if they started to eat again, then the symptoms came back, and I thought, well, what the hell? Does it not matter what they eat? They can't be reactive to everything. It's like, no, but they can be reactive to almost everything. And the difference between everything and almost everything, that's a big difference.
Maybe the Peterson family has found this Ark of the Covenant, beef. The Ark is filled with beef. You're allergic to almost anything, and then you eat beef. That's the one thing your organism is not allergic to. And when you intake beef, you get the beef cleanse, and it just helps you to get rid of nearly all your health issues. This certainly is possible, but I highly fucking doubt it. I highly fucking doubt it. It sounds like Michaela was very seriously sick, and I'm glad she's feeling better. Maybe it's beef. In any case, it's fine if she wants to eat beef. But she now has a blog, and she has her superstar dad promoting this bullshit. And I imagine it is dangerous for a lot of people, depending on their health conditions and whatever. Just eating beef, it just doesn't really make much sense to me. It doesn't really make sense to me. We're not fucking cats or wolves. We have to eat other shit too. I'm not a dietary expert, but that just kind of seems rational to me. So that's the problem with them, I feel like, that they're promoting this shit. I'm fine with people making irrational decisions in the context of their own life, but when they start to spread it around and make a fucking gospel out of it, which Peterson is doing, even though he is backing away and giving little disclaimers. The disclaimer is always like, well, it's anecdotal, but it's fucking awesome. I met fucking 10 people who had a simultaneous erection after not being able to get it up for years because they had beef. It's just that kind of shit. But anyway, I really have nothing more to say. I don't know why you watch this shit. I mean, it's just a lot of Peterson and the topic is stupid. But I have to say, do you notice my background looking as smooth as the baby's bottom? Well, I want to thank my patrons. I actually want to sincerely thank my patrons, because actually today I intended to withdraw my Patreon money, and I didn't do it. Now, why, you ask? There was a whole day to do it. I was off today. But you see, I kind of rumbled around in my fog. I went to see my therapist in a pre-scheduled appointment, and then I, bought some Chinese food, and then I fell asleep, even though I slept for like 9 hours before. So, I don't know what it is, but maybe there's beef missing. Ironing is for ladies, but I find steaming to be a masculine trade. And I never would have spent $17 on this if I didn't have my patrons. I mean, I definitely would, but I do appreciate all in any support, and now I will give you a little introduction to steaming that you've been waiting for. Look at how steam and vapor interact. Fuck it. Look at this intersection of 4 folds, my friends. But I think there's a predator in the waters. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know what time it is. Oh yeah. Something was there and now it's gone. Something was there but now it's gone. Our youth fades and so do these folds. Ah, disgusting. We have to clean this filth out of here. Fucking vile. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Is it perfect? Is it seamless? Nothing in life is. But it's not as flawed as it was before, my friends. Not nearly as flawed as it was before. You want this to stop, don't you? But why should it stop? Google gives me unlimited storage on YouTube. And I can use it to express myself as a creator. And just as a human being. Well, just kidding, nothing happened. I really felt no sensation. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being patrons.